stopping many people from registering. And with barely 4 months to election 2020, we ask, has the nation learned lessons from the bloody Ayawaso West Wugan by-election with pockets of violence at registration centers?
He killed a man in his own house.
Ghana's democracy does not need vigilantes and vigilantism.
We've got details.
Also coming up in business, government moves to save some state institutions from salary payment disruptions as a request for financial support of 312 million cedis from the Consolidated Bank Ghana. We have details in 15 minutes.
And after 2 years of attempts to stop the airing of Hotline documentary Missing Kilos, Joy News can finally broadcast the investigative report detailing how clerks of licensed cocoa buyers are stealing cocoa from poor farmers.
In this community, it will be impossible to find a shed that will weigh cocoa at 64 kilograms.
We'll bring you details plus today's agenda focusing on roads in Pokwase.
This road is not constructed. We will never vote. We won't vote because we are fed up.
Details in a moment. This is your election headquarters, and gunshots, violence characterized voter registration exercise in the OT region after at least 17 people were arrested on suspicion of being Togolese. 2 nursing mothers are also said to be part of those arrested during the last phase of the ongoing voter registration exercise. Here's an account of an eyewitness.
2 people alighted in a vehicle, saying that they are national security. They selected about 15 of them, telling them they are not Ghanaians, so they are taking them away. I know their villages here, and some of them are even my pupils, my ex-pupils.
That was an eyewitness, while some residents who spoke to Joy News also expressed their disappointment, claiming they know and live with the individuals who've been picked up.
The 80, now you need to go air border. Mostly more Ghana. Now so we live in now Togo. But we are Ghanaians to the 80.
They called them, viens. When they came, they said, bonjour. Then they responded, bonjour. Then they said, they are from Togo. Meanwhile, they teach French in Ghana. Me like this, I can speak French.
While Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah says the matter will be investigated.
And it is something that would need to be looked into and investigated. You know that as a matter of policy. You don't start off by believing or disbelieving everything that is aired on media platforms. The important thing is to ensure that it is properly investigated.
You heard the Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah. Well, in Banda, in the Bunu region, the NDC says there are armed military men there preventing people perceived to be their supporters from registering. Joy News has cited those videos, and Joseph Akable joins me. Joseph, what's exactly in the videos?
And so in the video, you see a military vehicle, a military bandit vehicle that has blocked a main road. There are individuals who are in a car that are trying to use that particular road. Then you see the NDC's General Secretary interacting with the soldiers and saying that they are not part of the process. You can listen to some of the sounds from those videos.
Soldier for part of our registration. And they have no business blocking people, legitimate people who will go to register.
No one can take your Ghanaian citizenship from you. Some vigilantes have been given military uniforms to misbehave. So take pictures of them when you see them, so that we can check where they were recruited to be soldiers.
Joseph, President Akufo-Addo has been speaking about these happenings across the country.
He actually touched on a matter on Friday in the Ashanti region during the Eid celebrations, and he says he's not aware that people are being prevented from registering.
I haven't heard someone wants to register and will be told he's not this or he's not that, so he should go. Everyone has the chance to register. I have heard that here at Asamwasi and Asokore Mampong, it is ongoing as expected.
President Akufo-Addo there. Let's stay on election-related matters. With barely 4 months to election 2020, we ask, has the nation learned lessons from the bloody Ayawaso West Wugan by-election with pockets of violence at registration centers? Well, here's a report from our political desk.
A bloody by-election at Ayawaso West Wugan that saw masked operatives of the National Security fire shots.
He killed a man in his own house.
We will count on the cooperation of all and sundry for the ultimate objective of investigating the violence and related incidents.
Ghana's democracy does not need vigilantes and vigilantism.
Pressure mounted on political parties to disband vigilante groups. Parliament has since passed a regulation outlawing vigilantism and all forms of party militia. The Peace Council also got political parties to sign a code of conduct. But with barely 4 months to the polls, pockets of violence have already left many Ghanaians worried. Gunshots and the killing of a prospective voter is of concern.
Any move that will be put in place to ensure that people are engaged, they are in gainful employment, they have something to do, will help us a lot.
At this point in time, it's important for the police to be seen as fair.
We are facing an imminent threat and danger.
I want to take this opportunity to appeal to the youth of the Zongos to reject being used as pawns to perpetuate political violence.
Your election headquarters will, in the coming days, focus on raising awareness on how to prevent electoral violence.
Away from election-related matters, Joy News is set to broadcast an investigative report detailing stealing of cocoa by produce clerks of licensed cocoa buyers today after 2 years of legal tussle. Missing Kilos explores how officials of state and private licensed buying companies are just weighing scales to steal as much as 100 kilos from a single farmer. In the first part of a 3-piece documentary, Joy News' investigative journalist Kwete Nati unveils a national plunder of the country's farmers.
After weighing my cocoa, I have brought the cocoa to the first shed at Amokwa. A man in his early 40s offers to buy the cocoa. He volunteers to carry the cocoa. He takes me to a mud-thatched house. He doesn't own his own shed. He weighs the cocoa at home. A bag of 70 kilogram cocoa now weighs 64 kilogram on his scale. He's demanding an extra 5 kilogram despite stealing 6 kilograms through the adjustment of the scale. In this community, it will be impossible to find a shed that will weigh cocoa at 64 kilograms. Is there a depot at Anyinase, or do they also weigh the bag at 70 kilograms?
You heard Kwete Nati's report there. Those are excerpts of his latest documentary, Missing Kilos. It will air on the Super Morning Show and on Joy News at 8:30 p.m. later today. Now, residents of Ga Odumase in Sakina and other areas in and around Pokwasi say they are disappointed in President Akufo-Addo and his government for unfulfilled promises to fix their roads. They've also vowed not to vote because they say doing so for decades has yielded no results. There's more in the following report.
Holes in the roads are not a new development in Pokwase, a suburb of Accra, under the Ga West Municipal Assembly. Here at the Pokwase-Odumase Junction, hundreds more are littered across the community. I'm going to speak to some of the residents here, the users of the road, on how they feel about it and how long this problem has occurred here.
Most of our mothers lose their pregnancies because of this condition of the road. The road is very rough, very bad. And we heard about many murders have been committed here. People have been robbed, motor riders, and even market women. Some of them they have been. But if this road is not constructed, we will never vote. We won't vote because we are fed up.
I want to remind President Akufo-Addo he has deceived us. He was here last November and promised to construct our roads within 3 weeks. If the roads are not fixed, he will lose the elections.
Many patients die before reaching the Oduman hospital. Women have had miscarriages.
Joy News' PSN and IL Safo's report. Now, the first batch of free SHS beneficiaries began their WASI examinations across the country today, but there are claims that the integrated science paper to be taken this morning has leaked. WIEC says it's asked the BNI and other security agencies to investigate the matter. Now, before we leave, Arrive Alive, sponsored by Toyota and Bedrock Insurance. Now, you're being advised to check your windscreen, your brakes, and other parts of your car before you set to travel or you set out on to work today. Now, before I go, here's a recap of our top stories. Gunshots and violence characterized voter registration exercise in the Otu region after at least 17 people were arrested on suspicion of being Togolese. I'm Benes Abubeidul Lansa. There's more news when you log on